Hello, good people, and welcome back to Her Space. In this podcast, it's all about women inspiring women. We welcome you back. I'm your host, Edna Thiongombogwa. Karibuni sana. Today we have a very special guest who is a seasoned psychologist, a mom, a wife, and many other things. And she's called Joanne Wawero, and she is a practicing psychologist with a private practice called Conscious Minds. And I will let her introduce herself. Welcome, Joanne. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
After
that introduction.
Right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Joanne. Never been called a seasoned therapist before, so that's new.
Okay.
But
they've been saying upcoming.
It's just been psychologist.
Psychologist.
I think so. Like before we had this conversation that last month.
Yes.
I realized I've been in the profession for 7 years, and I was like, wow, it's a long time.
Yes, that's seasoned.
Clearly. But yeah, so I'm Joanne. I'm a mom of one, Gabby. She's 4, turned 4 in June. I'm a wife. Opposite seasoned. Because I've been married almost 2 years now. Okay. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. I can't wait for what this episode shows up.
Awesome. Most welcome. So we will start with your mom. And just tell me a little bit about your mom. I always talk about mothers because it was my beginning of this conversation. And it's the inspiration that I got from my own journey. Started a bit late in Kenyan terms. And I was inspired by how big the role is, which I had almost thought that it's not as huge as it is. And so I love to honor our mothers and the mothers who have been there before us. So tell us a little bit about your mom. Is she still here with us?
She is.
Bless God.
We call my mom the original gangster for some weird reason, because like she just figures everything out for everyone all the time, always.
Is that like all moms?
I know, but I think like when it's you, it's usually like, yeah, I have to do it. But when you see your mom doing it, you're like, especially as an adult and then you become a mom, I usually look back and I see her and I'm like, you sacrificed a lot.
Yes.
Because the resilience she's had. My mom is a retired teacher.
Okay.
Retired high school teacher. And throughout her journey, I think she's been there. My dad is a pastor, so he's done missions a lot. So my mom has been, I think, there for all of us. We're 3, has been just there for all of us. Of course, there are those times as a teenagehood where you hate your mother for some weird reason. I don't know why all teenagers hate their mothers. But for my mom, she took it with grace.
Yes.
I don't know whether it was because of her education background, of understanding people, but she was like, it's a phase, you'll get out of it.
Yes.
So she's very resilient. She's really funny. But now I think it's interesting because I'm seeing that resilience fourth hand.
Yes.
She's finishing her chemo on Monday.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's an interesting story. Maybe another time. But she's not sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
But her doctors recommended chemo as a precautionary measure.
Oh, okay.
But I think regardless of whether or not you're sick, chemo just kicks your butt.
Yeah.
So seeing her through it, I think just reinforced a bit of, yeah, you just ask her immediately after she's done with the cycle. She's like, I'm fine. This will pass. She's also a very prayerful woman.
Yeah.
So this will pass. Like, I don't think it's my time yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And may she recover quickly and get out of it and enjoy her life. What have you learned from her specifically as you look at your own motherhood journey now? Are there things that are distinct that you'd say you picked from her?
Motherhood is very intentional. Yeah. And, you know, I always had friends who were friends with their parents, like through childhood, through teenagehood. Now as a mom, I don't think I want to be my child's friend.
Why not?
It's blurry. The line is very blurry.
I've always had people say, I'm not your friend, I'm your mother.
Not like, stay there, don't tell me anything.
Yes.
Of course, I have to foster safety and security in
Yes.
her life. But it's not, we're going out together. You come tell me things that I am meant to correct you on, but because we are friends, I'm meant to celebrate you.
What else? Like what?
Kids nowadays are doing wild things at very young ages. There's a school counselor was reporting vaping for 12-year-olds is a thing. I don't think I saw a vape till I was like 20.
Yeah.
So
didn't see it till 40.
See? Exactly.
Don't know where we grew up.
Exactly. So most, like, if you're a friend, it's supposed to be, yeah, that's the in thing now. Yeah, we should do it together. But as a parent, it's not something we'll haha about.
Yes.
So I think for my mom, that was very on the line. Granted, she's what generation is my mom? Is she a boomer? Or Generation
Gen X or silent?
I saw there's a lost generation.
I know, my God.
So 62, so I think she's a X, no boomer. She's a boomer. So most boomers, there was no friendship. It was just me, I'm your parent.
Yeah.
These are my responsibilities of your life.
Like almost a teacher, like
yes,
very strict.
But I appreciate that. Of course, as you learn, as you grow, and you experience things, you tweak things as you go.
Yes.
But that authoritative, I can come talk to you about things, but also I know boundaries and I know expectations that my parents have of me.
Yeah.
For me, that intentionality is what keeps me going.
Tell us about your own journey. How has it been? Your own motherhood journey, and also a bit about Joanne, your career. Yes.
I got a COVID baby. That was interesting. I kept telling people, when I went to hospital, I was the only one in hospital. I was the only one in the labor ward, and I was the only one in theater. I was the only one in recovery ward. So it was very interesting. My dad literally had to force his hand to come see me with my brother, because I think they were allowing some hospitals no visitors.
Yes.
Other hospitals, I think, one person.
Yes.
And because my mom wasn't around, she was like, just go. You just go see her. Or just go camp outside until they allow you to see her.
Yes.
So 2020, my 0 to 4, because my mom was in the country, 0 to 4 months of my baby's life, I think I was just on autopilot. I was just going. I was just on the move.
Yes.
It's feeding time, we feed. It's changing time, we change. Shower time, that cycle. And I usually count it as a blessing. So ironical that I didn't have a job.
Okay. So you are available
anytime,
24/7.
I used to sleep when the baby sleeps. You know those things mothers
Yes.
are told. I used to sleep when the baby sleeps, unless I had to like do something in the house. But for me, the 4th trimester wasn't bad. It was just a lot of learning. But also because COVID had been around, I think I read a lot. My mom told me to read a lot. Just have information, whether it's necessary or unnecessary. You'll sift it out once your baby comes.
What were your sources?
She gave me a book.
Okay.
The book that moms are given, what to expect when you're expectant. I think it's called that. Yeah. That time my IG algorithm was just full of what to do when you're in your 2nd trimester, because I had bad nausea. So the era where all professionals came online really helped me.
Yeah.
Because
so there's all this information online, books.
Yeah. All that failed, I just called my mom. It's like, this is happening, what do I do? Is this normal? So having her around was also amazing. But that one, she came because she came back when things kind of opened up. My daughter was like 5 months. I think I just breathed, because I was like, now source of information is here. I'm just fine now. just
They
okay.
provide that sense of
Safety.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And would the information, like what you're getting online and what you're getting from your mom, what was more, you know, like solid, legit? Which information was,
Old school all the time, my mom.
yeah, when she tells you something?
Because, for example, my baby had terrible nappy rash. All brands of diapers refused her. And you go online and you're told, no, maybe it's the ointment you're using. And CRT, they're cheap. So you go buy Aquaphor, you stop using that, you go to another brand, and all of them refuse. My mom just came with a dozen of nappies and Vaseline.
The old traditional nappies.
And Vaseline. She was like, we're using this.
Okay, and
they all disappeared.
That is interesting. You know, in my book, there's a story of my sister and how she could not get milk out.
Yeah.
And how hospital visits and everybody and all the neighbors until my mom landed and just cooked uji.
Yeah. And milk.
And fed her properly.
Yeah.
And the milk came out. So I don't know, this mother's magic hand. Yeah. And what other things would you say about your own story? How has motherhood been for you? How are you? You were not working then, now you're working. How did you find that balance?
I think motherhood for me has been a learning experience because even if I ask my mom about things, when I was being raised and when I'm raising my daughter, the times are completely different.
Yes.
The things that kids are learning, like 4-year-olds, she's 4, so the things she's asking now are not things that I would even dream of asking my mom.
Yes.
So I usually say motherhood led me to therapy. My own therapy, my own individual therapy, because I sat down and was like, everything triggered me.
Yes.
I thought tantrums were my fault. And so I remember my partner asking me, why is it about you? And it's just, he's a school counselor. So it's a developmental stage. They'll grow out of it. But I was so engulfed in the be well behaved. You know, I want to raise a well behaved child, an obedient child. And then I just thought one day, let me just go into a discovery of who I am, the worldviews that I hold, and how those impact my journey on motherhood. And it was one of the roughest things I've ever put myself through.
Tell me about it.
And I usually understand why people quit therapy. I almost did. Because it shows you one of the things that many people don't know, many people have children, to live vicariously through them. So either you're projecting your own traumas into them, or you are putting them in this line, and this is a line that you have to follow. In this family, we're doctors. And if they come and tell you they want to be a DJ, you excommunicate them. So learning that and allowing Gabby to be Gabby, and me just being a guide and a steward over her life, got me to the place where I understood it really is not about me. None of it. Like, if I wasn't there and there was another mom, it's also not about them. It's her journey. I just need to hold her hand and make her feel safe and secure through it. So for me, motherhood has been, after therapy, very interesting, very intriguing, because seeing her morph into the person that she is, her interests, and not being, no, we don't do that in this house, like most of us millennials were told, and just allowing her, seeing how far, because I think 4-year-olds just test boundaries. See how far she goes before I enforce a boundary, so that she understands, yes, there's free reign, but even the safety and security does have parameters. So it's been very intriguing, illuminating, insightful. It's changed a lot on how I see life. So I think for me, it's been nice it's been life. It's been difficult, really, really difficult, especially in seasons when she's unwell.
Yes.
And going through growth spurts. But it's also been very, very rewarding when small things. She comes home from school and she yells, "Mom." Those small things are very rewarding for me.
Yeah, I I appreciate that, and I think it's what modern moms are having to learn, because I think traditionally it was more of what you know and trying to, even just leadership. We were, we were trying to lead from what we know and telling people what to do, rather than allowing people to be, and we are guiding them. So it's a difficulty. And I can imagine how hard it is also for mothers, because you think you know. And you mean you didn't know? It's hard to even accept that you don't. Yeah. But how does discipline come in? I don't know. How are people supposed to now, as you're allowing this individual to move and be independent, how do you instill discipline?
The problem of having two parents who are psychologists is we parent very differently from our friends, not even other people, just our friends. Because for us, corporal punishment is not a thing at all.
Yeah.
In our house, it's because we have this thing where we read a lot, so
Okay.
it's the extensive journey. When you start corporal punishment, when does it end? When does your child understand I'm big enough to be talked to and not beaten?
Yeah.
Is it easy? It's one of the ghettoest things we have ever done, because positive and negative reinforcement, where if positive behavior is rewarded, negative behavior is or not punished, but you remove,
Discouraged.
yes. So if we have a lot of conversations with our daughter, which most people find like wild.
in
Like, why are you
in
talking,
Africa.
why are you talking to a 4-year-old? But
What would you be like talking to her about? For example?
She's gotten to the age where she wants what she wants, and that's it.
Say, for example, she wants to play in the rain.
When she has a raincoat and gumboots, she goes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just play.
But not like soaking wet.
Okay.
Also. So if she wants candy, for example, and we've gone to a supermarket, and the conversation we've had at home is, we're going to do grocery shopping. We're not buying sweets or candy, and then we get to the supermarket, and then it's this whole experience. We just stay off the TV. She stays off the TV. Even when she's on holiday, she doesn't know. She's an extroverted extrovert.
Okay.
She doesn't go out to play.
Well, that's the discouraging.
Yes. For like a week. And that's the hard part.
Okay.
Because then we are the entertainment.
And she has to listen to you, and she doesn't like it.
No. No, she doesn't. Yeah, but it's worked. When she was 2, it was a lot. It was a lot. Her tantrums were a lot. But I think we've seen through, because she knows us as happy mommy and daddy are happy people, go lucky,
Yes.
we have fun. But now when she gets to a side when now she's not listening to anyone and she's just running wild, it becomes a whole different conversation, and she sees. So she comes and says, "Mommy, I'll listen to you next time."
Okay. So she
won't.
learns.
Exactly. And it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, to get that learning to take place. Yeah, so parenting is some work. Yes, it's some work.
Yes.
And I think that's what you realize when you start parenting. Like I like, for me, it took too long to start it, and I had all this independence and so much time for myself, until you start parenting and you're like, where did my life go? I'm now looking like I'm waking up after 5 years. Yeah, and it doesn't end. So you are a therapist, a psychologist. Tell us a little bit about your work, and I would also like to speak more into how you're supporting mothers. And just tell us, you told me outside that you do trauma. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
So yes, I am a therapist. It
What's the difference between a therapist and a psychologist?
The umbrella is therapist.
Oh, okay. So therapy is like the discipline.
No, psychology is
Psychology
what
is
you
the
study.
discipline.
But most people use the terms counselor, psychologist,
Okay.
and therapist interchangeably.
Mhm.
Yeah, I usually feel like it's fine. Trying to explain it
Too much
is
work.
too much work.
Yes.
Yeah,
So therapy is fine.
therapy is fine.
Okay.
I do trauma work.
Mhm.
I help guys through transitions. I help guys through anxiety and depression.
Mhm.
Um, and what else do I do? Grief. I guide clients through grief and loss.
Okay.
Yes.
In Kenya, where are we at in this space? Because I know globally, like in the West, therapy is big. And for me, I think because of, I don't know, maybe just my curiosity, I learned about it a bit earlier. And I've always liked to have a standby therapist who, if I want to talk, I'll pay her and I'll do my 2 hours, but it's not that consistent, but I found it very useful. So when you think about Kenya, where are we at in this space of people taking it up positively without thinking that they're sick or they need to not tell anyone that they're seeing a therapist?
I think we could do better,
Mm-hmm.
but we're definitely not where we were in 2018.
We're better.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the blessings COVID brought to the surface is the importance of talking about where you are at.
Yes.
Because people were cooped up. So you have cabin pressure.
Mm.
You have maybe you've got retrenched because your boss doesn't understand it's hybrid or working from home.
Yes.
And so your family is depending on you. You have kids. You're all in the same house and both of you don't have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point where people started to understand it's not sadness, it's depression.
Yes.
It's not I'm antsy, I'm usually an antsy person. It's social anxiety or it's general anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to that point of self-awareness. So you can only do so much of self-awareness by yourself until you get to a roadblock and you realize, maybe this therapy thing is not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for COVID, that was that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are, especially the guys who are living alone, you're by yourself with your thoughts, and the country is up in flames and you don't have a sense of control. You don't have a sense of autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave your house. Even
Yes.
small things, you can't leave your house. So it got to a point where people started to understand the discipline of psychology. It wasn't just, why am I paying a stranger to talk about stuff that they don't understand?
Yeah. Do you think, what are some of the barriers for uptake? Because we know that, when I look around, I ask this team here, how many have seen a therapist? Maybe 1 in 100 sees a therapist. I don't know the actual statistics, but I think not many people take it up. And there's also like a stigma around it. Or is it a stigma or a stereotype? Or like a thought that I'm very sick or I'm not crazy. So what are the barriers? Why do people shy off from taking up therapy?
Lack of exposure and understanding. Um, most, especially in Kenya, therapy is looked at from a classism point of view.
Yeah.
Because granted, over the last 10, 20 years, seeing a therapist is crazy money.
Yes, it was
So
expensive.
am I paying
It
my
still
rent?
is, eh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Am I paying my rent, or am I going to talk about my feelings?
Yes.
And so I think also one of the things that COVID brought out is guys who've just completed their bachelor's and they're like, me, I want to offer my services, and I'm offering it for a fraction.
Okay. Also
Of what
now the pricing also
changed. So that lack of understanding and exposure is what grounds a lot of people, because it's what I've talked about it. What is it going to change?
Yeah.
This person doesn't even know me. They don't know my background. They don't know who I am. How are they supposed to help me in this time? This is white people things. Black people don't go to therapists. We die with our problems.
We're strong.
I kill the strong Black man and woman narrative for all my clients. It just die. It just needs to die.
Yes.
Because
we're not strong.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
So
which we've been made to believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hate it also. I don't like people telling me I'm strong. I'm not.
No.
I'm so vulnerable.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not strong at all. I don't want even to be strong.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to be strong. So tell me about postpartum a bit, especially in the experience you've had, especially with mothers who've gone through postpartum. I found it's an area that we need to talk a lot more about. We're still looking for people who've gone through it themselves to tell us their story. What has been your experience in that area?
With postpartum?
Yes.
I think
maybe you could actually define it. What is postpartum depression for our audience, so that at least someone can know and they can be looking out for their sisters?
I usually say it's in the name. It's feelings of depression after you've given birth to a baby. That, there's the normal symptoms or signs. There's irritability. There is extreme sadness. Your functioning reduces. So you'll find with some like extreme cases, even cleanliness with you and the baby doesn't happen. So someone enters the house and wonders. Some may perceive it as laziness. You need to pick up your slack, but you see, for it to be imbalance in your brain, it's not in your control. You've not decided, today or this week, me and my daughter are not showering. The house will stay a mess. We will not wash dishes. We will not clean up the house. It's not that. It's the ability. You lack the ability to function. So cleanliness.
From your
yes.
mental functioning?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no drive. There's no motivation. There's nothing. You just want to stay in a dark room by yourself forever. Or seemingly. In that moment, it seems like you want to do that forever. Yeah.
Are there like things that somebody out there can look at a partner, at a sister, a neighbor, and tell they're going through postpartum?
Bouts of crying.
Okay.
Like randomly, we are sitting here with you and we're having a conversation about cats, and then I start crying uncontrollably. And
then a layman like me would be like, is it about the cats?
Exactly.
And then you'll be like, no, or you don't know.
Yeah. Most people don't know. And even if you know, it's been shunned so much that getting to the point of admittance of, yes, I have postpartum depression,
yes,
and I'm taking medication for it.
Yes.
Very few people want to be in that space.
Yeah.
Where it's yes, I'm sick, just like guys with diabetes, and I'm taking meds for it. It becomes, so you're not even strong enough to be a mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is a fear in a mother, because you don't want to admit that you're not strong as the society expects.
Exactly.
So you continue struggling with these feelings. What are the symptoms? So bouts of crying,
irritability, snapping for menial things. You could find a shoe out of place, and you have an outburst for like 10 minutes
on other people.
Yeah. The first person you land your eyes on is
even your baby.
Yes. So there's that. There is isolation. You don't want to see your friends. You, even if you have a partner, you don't want to see your partner. You just want to stay with the baby. I think sometimes it's because it's easier. Because you also don't know what's happening in your mind.
Yes.
And the one question people keep asking you is, what is wrong?
Yes.
How can I help you?
Yes.
How can I support you? And I don't know.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what's happening with me.
So I don't know how to ask for help.
No. If you ask me, I don't know what to tell you.
Sure.
Yeah. So you want to stay alone. If you can give the baby to someone, you would. It's just that now the baby's 2 months, 3 months, you're their source of food.
Yes.
So you just want to stay, curtains drawn in your room, just stay.
And how long can that go on?
If it's baby blues, there's a difference between baby blues and postpartum depression.
Okay.
Baby blues last 3 weeks, a month,
Okay.
after you've given birth, where you're transitioning into this is a lot all of a sudden, and I'm the one supposed to manage all this. So your systems kind of go into a mini shutdown.
Okay.
But after a month, especially if you have support, you get out of it and you're like, okay, it's doable. It's difficult, but it's doable.
Okay, so you like kind of acclimatize and
Yes.
handle it better.
PPD continues. The overwhelm continues. If untreated, it can just go on. You can go out of, because the postpartum is meant to be 6 months. It can just continue into depression.
Oh, now to actual depression.
Yes. Because now the feelings of why it's postpartum depression is because the feelings of overwhelm and imbalance and sadness are based off on this thing that you've experienced, childbirth. But after your baby's a bit independent and you can go into work, then the pattern part kind of sheds off.
Okay.
And you get into a system where life is just overwhelming.
So every other thing now becomes overwhelming.
Because now you're out of the house, you're working.
You're away from the baby.
Yes. You're working. Your friends are like, your baby is older, we can hang out. There's that relationship pressure that is back now. Of we haven't seen you in a while, the baby's not that small yet, we should chill.
Yes.
There's the expectation of now you need to go back to take care of the house as a mom and a wife.
Yes.
And the baby's not small yet.
Yes.
You can't use the excuse of I'm holding the baby or nursing the baby. The question becomes, why is the house dirty?
Yes.
If you don't have a nanny.
Yes.
What are we eating for dinner?
Yes.
So life is at you now, full circle.
We have a wedding to attend. We have something.
Or we have a family meeting. My mom wants to see you. All these things.
Or we want to come to your house.
That people should not do that. But all that is happening. And so if no one noted your decline and told you, let's just go for an assessment.
Yes.
Or if you're at the point of awareness where you understood feelings of depression and you're like, hey, I need to go get assessed. I don't think the feelings I'm experiencing are normal. Then you just think life is overwhelming.
And you live like that?
Yeah.
So and because we've seen, as I was collecting the stories of mothers, a lot of people said when people got babies, they just changed forever.
Yeah.
So it could be things that were never discovered. And that affects your life, quality of life and everything.
It affects everything. Because if you can't be there for yourself, I usually say, if you can't pour into your own cup,
you can't pour from an empty one.
Even your baby is going to get the short end of the stick.
What are the interventions? What would you say are like 1, 2, 3 things that if you see your neighbor, your friend, your sister, your partner having some of the symptoms that Joanne has said, what are some of the interventions?
I usually joke and say Jesus and therapy, but
since your dad is a pastor, we can pray over it.
But
yeah,
if you are able, see a therapist.
Okay.
If you're not able and you're trying to support someone who's going through postpartum, be there. Presence. Help them with things they're struggling with. If she was passionate about work, just bring up random topics around her area of specialization.
Okay.
Let her talk and think about something other than motherhood. Don't come, how's breastfeeding? Maziwa imekuja.
It brings more pressure.
Exactly. Like, let her, she's already feeling pressure enough without the questions.
Yes.
And when she goes for her clinic, the doctor will ask her all these questions.
Okay.
So for now, just presence helps a lot. Talking about random things helps a lot. Being in a space where you help with small things. If they need grocery shopping, go. Bring the groceries to the house, if they need shopping for the house, do that.
Mm-hmm.
If they have other kids and they need drop off and pick up from school, or help with homework, do what you can,
Mm-hmm.
but don't have the approach of, I don't understand where she's at right now and I don't know how to help.
Yeah.
Because that's what most people do.
Yeah.
When you change,
Mm-hmm.
people are like, she changed and I didn't know how to help her, and
Yeah.
she didn't tell me.
Yes. And family is like, we don't know now how to deal with it. She's different.
Exactly.
It's like walking on eggshells
All the time.
all the time. Yes, and people are scared. I think that's important, so that we support our families and we support our sisters out there. Is therapy expensive? In Kenya, are there public places where people can access therapy?
They are.
Mm-hmm.
The question, I think that if it's therapy expensive, is usually very broad.
Is it affordable?
So far, it's becoming.
Okay.
Because more and more people have a sliding scale. You either have a sliding scale with your profession, where depending on the needs of a person and their economical background, you'll be like, okay, yeah, maybe 5,000 is a bit much. So, house two.
For a session, or?
Yes. But why I'm saying it's getting there is because previously, seeing a therapist for an hour would cost between 7,000. If you get one for 5,000, you're very lucky. 5,000, there are PhD holders who can charge up to 25,000 per session.
Yeah.
But it's getting to the place where even us in the profession understand it is a need. It's not a luxury anymore. It's not only the people who can afford it go to therapy. It becomes
a need for
everyone.
Many people, everyone almost.
Yeah. Places like KNH offer free therapy. Their youth center offers free therapy, but you have to be below 25
years to be supported with the free.
Yes.
Is there any for like mothers?
No, but I've been trying to start a support group for moms.
Okay.
Where we do group therapy.
Okay.
And
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like moms have separate problems that only moms get.
Yes.
That may sound a bit stereotypical, but when you both have 2-year-olds, you kind of understand each other's plight.
Yes.
I don't have to keep telling you. I'll just tell you I have a 2-year-old and you're like, okay, we'll meet next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can compare notes and you can support each other. So besides therapy, also support groups, areas of interventions.
Yes.
Are there other areas of interventions that you'd recommend?
Social support.
Social support, friends, community.
It has to be solid. It has to be solid. There's a notion that once you become a mom, you can't keep the same friends you used to keep. And at the beginning of the transition, maybe. But I feel like if you guys were 4 people,
yes,
and you've known each other from campus, and that's 10 years, the friendship is not meant to disintegrate just because one of you got a mom.
Yes.
Got a child, sorry.
Yes.
So trying to rally around each other as you journey through life in
as you
different
transition
seasons.
in different seasons.
Exactly.
It's important.
Very.
Yeah.
Because at 3 a.m., maybe your partner is going to work at 4 and can't help you.
Yes.
One of your friends who works remotely can come.
Yes.
Help with the baby. Or you can go to their house.
Yes.
It's easier. They help with you with the baby as you rest.
Yes.
So being intentional volunteers in each other's journeys.
Yes.
Helps.
I totally agree. And I think it's important for people to know that. And it's the more we grow, the more we are realizing that the solutions are the basic ones. Not very complicated. No. Yes. But obviously we recommend for people to consider to see a therapist, to seek help, especially if I was thinking if postpartum becomes so severe, then of course there's medical attention.
Yes. And that's why assessment is really important.
Okay.
Because if you go, the doctor will be like, it's not severe. You can see a therapist, or if you have a solid social support system, they can help you through it. I'll give you guidelines. If it's severe, you're told we'll have you on meds for the next 6 months, and then we knew.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that guys don't understand. Postpartum depression is a lot.
Yes.
Because of, it's not just depression, it's depression, and then you're blaming yourself for being a bad mom.
So then it now becomes also, you're judging, you're feeling, is it like inadequate? So it's bigger than depression itself.
Yes. And there's another completely different animal, which is postpartum psychosis, which is just...
What's that?
Have you ever seen someone go through a psychotic break?
No, I don't.
It's violent. Have you had cases of moms who've killed their babies?
Yes.
That's postpartum psychosis.
How would people know someone is going through that?
We need our hospitals to work, because if most of these cases have been in small towns, and so the probability of the hospital having a psychiatrist is very low. But most of the times, if you go to places like Nairobi Hospital, the big hospitals,
yes,
they offer screening. People who do rounds, a psychiatrist does rounds, just to, if someone tells them, go check on patient so and so, there's an assessment that can be done.
Okay.
But if you're in a town where giving birth at home is normal, then there has to be a lot of civic education.
So there's still more awareness that needs to be built in this country, and support. Joan, you know, we can't finish this topic. It's very big. I've been wanting so much to talk about it, because as I collected the stories, I told you I have a number of those stories that we are yet to publish. And I have also found that it affects all moms, because it's not about economics or wherever the background that you're coming from. It can affect a working mom, a stay-at-home mom, any other mother. And I think these are interventions that we need. I mean, it's awareness, it's education, it's support that is needed for mothers. So I'll definitely look for you for follow-up of this conversation, but you can give us your closing remarks.
Closing remarks. Motherhood is hard, but you're doing great. It's the only thing you can tell yourself as a mom, not to give up.
Yes.
When you're trying to compare yourself, don't. Because the grass is always greener. So trying to focus on your journey, your individual journey, and what works for you and your family and your children. That's it. That's it. You'll go further than trying to see, oh, this one is doing this, let me jump.
Yes.
Jump. Yes, just do motherhood the way you are learning how to.
Yes. I like that. Just do it the way you're learning how to. And a day at a time.
A day at a time.
Yes, as we converse with our children, help them, discipline them, raise them. But I love that you said that we're just stewards. So thank you so much for coming. I can't thank you enough. I will definitely look for you, because we do need some more conversations around this. And I hope that this conversation has helped a mother out there and a sister out there to reach help if need be, or to look for community that can support them. And we are going to put your contacts for Conscious Mind. It's Conscious Mind.
Yes.
For Conscious Mind out there, so that people can reach Joanne for further help, for affordable therapy sessions. Yeah, and useful. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for coming, and have a good day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, our audience. We had Joanne Wawero on set talking to us about mental wellness, postpartum depression, trauma, and how to handle those things, and how to support each other at home, with our partners, with our friends, family. And please follow her on her social media pages, and reach out to her for more help. If you see somebody out there going through some of the symptoms that we have discussed, please help her get the attention that is required, so that we can be all wholesome and well. Remember, as a mother, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to be whole to be able to raise a whole human. So we hope that the conversation was helpful as we continue to build together. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more episodes. Asanteni and goodbye.